Yeah, she said sent it today, but I'll probably read it. Thank you.
I will. Good evening, everyone. This is the Pinole Community Services meeting, and we'd like to welcome you. For those who are listening, we would like to welcome you. First of all, Maria, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Butler,
Present.
Commissioner Kopp,
Present.
Commissioner Martin,
Present.
Commissioner Ojeda,
Present.
Commissioner Rupert,
Here.
and I want to note that Commissioner Teller is absent today.
I'd like to ask for an approval for the minutes of April 24th, please.
I'll approve them.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. Citizens to be heard. Citizens may speak under any item not listed on the agenda. The time limit is 3 minutes and is subject to modification by the chair. Individuals may not share or offer time to another speaker or pursuant to provisions of the Brown Act. No action may be taken on the matter unless it is listed on the agenda or unless certain emergency or special circumstances exist. The commissioners may direct staff to investigate and or schedule certain matters for consideration at a future meeting. Are there any citizens to be heard this evening?
There are none online, Laurel.
We do?
No.
Okay. We'll move on at this time then to new business. First is welcoming our new Community Services Director, and I'll turn the speaker over to her.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Andrea Dwyer. I am the new City of Pinole Community Services Director. I have met many of you individually, some the first time, so welcome. I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. I did grow up in Hercules, right next door. Went to school, elementary and middle at St. Joseph's, right here, right in our backyard. Very familiar with the community. There's some teachers that are still there. And then I went locally to Salesian High School, so I am a born and raised Bay Area native. I've worked for other agencies, including the City of Hercules, the City of San Pablo, City of Dublin, City of El Cerrito, and now the City of Pinole. I do like to joke and say I have a 5 agency maximum, so this will round out my 5. So I'm looking forward for a future here with the city. The team, this is my 3rd week now, so we are completing the 3rd week, and the team has been very welcoming. I'm very excited. You guys have been amazing with information, and I'm looking forward to just continuing this community service work that we do in partnership and collaboration, and just seeing what new ideas are there. So thank you for coming. And with this, I also want to welcome Commissioner Omar Butler as our newest commissioner. So welcome to this team. And we are very excited to have you as well. So thank you. And nice to meet every one of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrea, and we welcome you. We're delighted to have you. I'm going to move on to summer programming. And before we continue that, I want to mention that events coming up, Coastal Cleanup, September 21st, and Dumpster Day, October 5th. I think I got the dates right. So put those on your calendar, and we'll be working those events. Summer programming. Maria, did you want to lead us on this?
Yes, thank you. I'll take it from here. So I just wanted to provide the commission with an update. So the community services team is planning for a variety of summer community events. The car show pancake breakfast will take place on June 23rd at the Pinole Senior Center. The 4th of July celebration will be at Pinole Valley High School. This will feature a drone show. It's going to have a parade, live band, food trucks, children's activities. Our flyer for this event is being finalized, so it will be available soon. I'll be happy to share it with the commission as well once it's available. Additionally, we're going to have the Summer Craft Fair on July 27th that will be hosted at the Pinole Senior Center. And we are also going to kick off our concert and movie series starting on July 12th. So for 5 weeks of the summer, it will alternate between a movie and a concert. A complete list of the offerings and the bands and the movies that will be offered are available on our website. We're also working on a flyer specifically for the summer series that will be available at Fernandez Park, and we'll have that available as well, and I'll be happy to share that with the commission.
Thank you. So we've got a busy summer coming up. Let's talk about summer programming. Apart from that, is there anything else? Or are we going to move on to event discussion? Event discussion, then. Did you have?
We're going to tee it up. Maria's going to tee it up.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. This item here is an item that Commissioner Rupert wanted to discuss. There are 2 events that she had brought to Laurel and myself via email for consideration to add to the agenda. So we are adding this event discussion to the agenda. I do want to note that the commissioners can make recommendations to the City Council through staff. It has to be approved by the majority of the commissioners in order for this recommendation to happen. And I will hand it off to Andrea to see if she would like to add anything else to this item before we take it to Irma.
Thank you. Yes. So part of what we do on this commission is discussion, collaboration, communication. And so when you are talking about events, Commissioner Rupert, thank you for bringing this forward. I think you have an ear in the community, which is so appreciated. Maria and I have taken a look at the events that we currently do run, and we have a lot going on each month. So just keep that in mind about, what we're looking at and what we're discussing. And so we're going to share some feedback. This is going to be an open discussion. We can talk about it and communicate, and then we can go from there. So Commissioner Rupert, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And the events were, do you remember that I sent you an email on? I don't have my email with me.
The neighbor to neighbor was
One of them, and then the other one was, do you remember? Was it the cultural fair, maybe? Okay, thank you. I didn't bring my whole packet. Okay, the first one is neighbor to neighbor. I like to get on next door for information, things that are coming up in the community, which I like to do, things going on. And there's a national group, Neighbor to Neighbor. I was a former neighborhood watch captain. And it seems that it's beneficial to get your neighbors together. Not all will, get together, but I'd say at least mine were at least 85–90% were there once a year, and we used to do it National Night Out because of the Neighborhood Watch. This Neighbor to Neighbor is a little more of an expansion of the group. It helps you in its totality. If you need help, if you need someone you're going out of town and someone's staying home, and whatever it is that a neighbor can do, neighborly, there's a lot of things that it lists what neighbors can help out with. And I was thinking, and I asked Maria if we could introduce it to the commission, and if not through the commission or the city, then if some of us can go at it alone without, and you understand what I'm saying? You can start your own neighborhood group, but I was thinking it would be nice to offer it out there to people and say, there's this idea, Neighbor to Neighbor, it's a national group, and I just thought I'd bring that idea, and people don't want it, then I could say but I'd like to pursue it myself, but I would do it as a private citizen, and,
So you're saying it's an expansion of Neighborhood Watch?
It's everything, everything. I say this because with the pandemic in the last couple of years, more than half of my neighbors moved, passed away, are not there. I don't know my neighbors, my neighborhood. And I've gotten to introduce myself to a couple of new neighbors that moved in, and they'd like to have this get-together, like cordial. And then one of my neighbors went out of the country last year, and her daughter stayed home, and I had an emergency. She had an emergency. I couldn't go across the street, so by the time the police and the fire and everybody showed up, she went to the hospital, and she passed away 2 weeks later. And her parents were out of town, out of the country. I just say this sincerity that, if we as neighbors can touch on the ones closest to us, and, sometimes you rely on public safety, the police and fire, but sometimes there's people closer to you that might be able to help. I'm just saying it as an idea, so I'm just putting that out to you guys and whatever you guys would think, and we'll go from there.
Yes, Debbie?
Well, I appreciate you thinking of that and thinking of your neighbors. That's so important. I feel the same way about my neighbors. And, but the thing is it seems redundant just to me because we already have Neighborhood Watch. We already have National Night Out again at our homes. We have the big National Night at the park in, September? And we also have, what is that neighborhood on, neighborhood email that we're all connected with? So it seems a little redundant for me. It seems a little overwhelming. I'm spread pretty thin, so no offense, but I'm not for it. Sorry.
Well, let me just make this comment with what you're saying. As a Neighborhood Watch captain formerly, I was part of the program. And what happened is it was just stipulated for National Night Out as public safety, with the fire and police. This expansion of this group is a national, and it includes, and I was even thinking, even meeting on the National Night Out, because that's something we brought up. What happened with National Night Out with the city was they took away the neighborhood get-togethers and brought it to Fernandez Park and brought it together. Well, some of us can't make it to Fernandez Park. So some of us were able to have something at the house. But at the same time, I'm just saying, for those who would like to be included in all this as a general, it doesn't have to be named Neighborhood Watch or, neighbor to neighbor.
Can I just say also that last year, and I think you covered this, they came back and did the old-fashioned National Night Out on the correct day, which is the second Tuesday or the first Tuesday in August. So they came to my house. I'm a block captain also.
yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you covered that. And then we had the bigger one at the park a few months later. So that's all I was saying.
Yeah.
But I appreciate everything that we have and do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely.
Any input from other commissioners?
Okay, and then your second event that you had brought up.
And the other one from last year, because I just been here since last year, so I was appointed. There was some fairs out there. Other cities would have like cultural fairs, and I thought, well, maybe later on I thought about it when I brought the idea, and I thought maybe the cultural fair could be combined with another, maybe Juneteenth or Pride. Festival or whatever it means, it seems that we can probably combine that. And I was also thinking, and the other side of it, of cultural fair, was the career fair that we haven't had, that Pinole Valley had about a couple of months ago with the West Contra Costa School District at the Pinole Valley. It was a lot of kids, a lot of people looking for jobs. But getting back to that, I was thinking maybe the cultural fair could be combined with one of the other events, maybe later on in the future, so that we all celebrate our own culture and be out there at the park and just, you know, be able to all bring your culture to the park in the city and just have a great time.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Any discussion about that? Any suggestions?
I just have a question. Juneteenth, what is, do we have that combined with something already? I think we do.
Yes, it's Pinole Pride Juneteenth.
Yes,
Yes.
that's what I was thinking. So, yeah, that might be a lot to try to do, add that also. We have a full plate, this city. We are having, we're having fun.
And keep in mind, too, Commissioner Report's point, all events, anybody is welcome. So any cultural group, any tabling, those are things that they can work with the city on. If they wanted to come out and have a table, we would welcome that, just to add to maybe the events that we have now.
Yeah, and just to answer what you're saying, I've lived here over 40 years, and sometimes I've known people and groups who've come forward and wanted to have, you know, or even some youth groups sell their T-shirts, sell their, you know, sports, raise money for their schools, and they've been denied their booths and sponsorship or whatever. I think that we need you as an ambassador of this group to go out there and ask the city, especially the city attorney, because he's the one that will probably say, you know, if you're trying to raise money, there's things that you have to do. So maybe touch on that. And I would say that at every event possible, PTAs, schools, the kids, because they will be out of school, some of these, and they also get credit for doing community work. And so maybe we can open up a little more advertisement, getting out and reaching out to our youth and school kids and everybody else, because I know that sometimes some of these events are maybe not advertised properly. There's only a little sign at the corner, maybe a big banner. Certain things that we can do better so that we can get more people out there, especially our youth. I think the kids are the number one, you know, group that we need to consider. So I just thought I'd bring that conversation to the table.
Thank you. So essentially, you know, it's a suggestion that groups such as, you know, such as any particular groups, let's take the Mandarin School
Yeah.
or PTA, that they would be encouraged to come to community events and have a booth or something.
And just to make a comment, last year there were two groups that I know personally were closing doors on or were denied coming in, and you and I can have a later discussion. But I'm just saying, make sure that the rules apply to everybody across the board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, one more thing that I just wanted to add to that is, in referencing the marketing, I think it's important for you guys to just have this context, since you are our commissioners and our community ambassadors, really. Our team does flyers. We do banners around town. We also email them. We take them to local businesses. We get in the schools. We have a full long list with our public information officer, as well as our own community services department, with an ongoing PTA list. We reach out to parent groups. Maria, previous to my arrival, had done an amazing job getting as many people to come out to coastal cleanup as she could. It's really about, you know, stretching yourselves thin with Boy Scouts and other groups. You know, they got a lot going on, but marketing is one that I think we are not shy on. We are doing as much as we can, and I think that if there are other opportunities, social media is really expanding right now, so we're, you know, doing that. We have a great marketing coordinator going on right now, so we can definitely bring you even information of placement of those banners, and if you feel like there's other places you'd like to see. Right now we have our Pride Juneteenth flyers going around town, so you'll start seeing those here soon. But those flyers are already out there. They've made notice, so we are excited about those. But if you do feel like there's an area that you feel like is not enriched with some marketing, let me know, and we can look at that.
Are we going to have a banner for some of these
The
events?
banner's already actually down there. Yeah, the banner's posted on the corner.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
We as individuals can also, if we have the flyer, we can post it on Nextdoor or something, you know, I mean, it's no problem. Or hand them out to the neighborhood. Okay, anything else with the summer meeting schedule? And so, if not, let's move on to old business.
I would like to say.
Yes.
I would like to say something. I don't know how many of you have found out. The principal of the high school here now has been, well, removed as principal and put back as a teacher. And he was one of the best people we had to communicate with all the years that I've been involved with Pinole TV. 'Cause we worked with him on basketball games, football games, parades, and all of this. And nobody's ever been able to tell anybody why you would take a principal that has been so active with the students and that, and with the city and the TV station, everybody, why he was removed as principal.
Bob, I'm going to interrupt you there, but I also, and Debbie, I work outside this with many groups and have worked with him. It's just something that's happened administratively, and we just have to accept it. And there'll be a new principal that we are sad, and we'll just work with a new principal in whatever groups we're in at the time.
I didn't know if everybody knew that.
We know it.
So the summer meeting schedule, we're going to speak about the commission meetings for June and July. Typically, we do take a break. This commission takes a break in June and July. That would be June 26th and July 24th, and then we would reconvene in August. And so what we would need to do tonight is the commission would need to vote on that. If you, in fact, would like to not meet in June and July, and then reconvene in August, which would be August 28th is when our next meeting would be after tonight's.
I make a motion that we do that. That we go dark for June and July, and that we pick it back up on August 28th, did you say?
I'm sorry. And before we finalize, it's okay. There are two public comments. So just one moment. No, it's okay.
Well, should we finish the vote and then go to public
No,
comments?
public comments first.
Okay. Could I have a second for this motion, please?
Sorry, public comments first before the second.
Okay, Rafael Menes, if you can unmute, please.
Raphael?
Hello, Community Services Commissioners. My name is Rafael Menes. I'm a resident of Pinole, and actually I wanted to talk about an earlier item, not this particular one you're voting on, but there wasn't an opportunity for me to comment at that point. I wanted to comment on Commissioner Rupert's suggestions for events. In particular, the idea of having more community-involved events, sort of linked to having more community tabling and sort of presence for maybe more commercial or fundraising type things at things like Pinole Pride and so on. One thing that I noticed was that when I was traveling for training with the city of Pinole, I went to Long Beach, and one thing that I found there was they had a night market, basically a time period where they just shut down one street, sort of like the city does for the car show, except a little bit smaller scale at nighttime, where they had a bunch of, like community groups, like their local artisans and some local stores. They all had things they were selling and talking about there. So I'd like to suggest that to the commission as a potential area to look at, not necessarily just adding more things to the existing events, but having a new kind of event that's sort of like the farmers markets, but sort of like a hybrid between the farmers markets and the car show, but much, much smaller scale. So it's not as much cost to the city. It's not as disruptive, but maybe like, shut down a block on San Pablo every Thursday or Friday and just have, community artisans and businesses out in the street. Maybe have some kids doing fundraising for their stuff. So that way we can have people more physically engaged with the city as it is, and also have an opportunity for more community groups and community businesses to build up their work. So I wanted to offer that as a suggestion. And with regards to the first topic of sort of neighbor to neighbor community cleanup type events, I think that's a good idea. I advocated for it back when I was on the commission more years ago than I want to recall at this point. And I don't think it would necessarily require the full engagement of every person on the commission if an individual commissioner is willing to, sort of help coordinate a particular event. And I don't think it would need, the full involvement of city staff and overtime costs and all those things, because you could just say, Commissioner Martin or Commissioner Rupert says, I know some people in my neighborhood who'd like to do a cleanup on this day. And then the city could be like, okay, we're going to do that. And maybe have like a little banner on social media or whatever saying there's a community cleanup or something on Nextdoor or whatever. It doesn't need to be a huge major thing, just something smaller scale that might work.
Excuse me, Raphael, could you wrap up, please?
Yep, I'm going to wrap up right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your input.
I have a comment.
I think we have one.
Okay. Caller ending in 5748. You may unmute.
Welcome. Hello. Hello.
I think it's trying to unmute my microphone rather than.
Sorry. But it's. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
There he goes.
Yes, could you state your name, please, sir?
Yes, my name is Anthony. Senior citizen, longtime taxpayer, homeowner of over 40 plus years in the city of Pinole. And I just would like to echo what the last caller and commenter, Rafael Menace and Bob Kopp, had to say, which is part of our community, but maybe some other things as well. With regard to the summer programming or all programming throughout the year, I want to make a request that a vote be taken to curb the amount of police force or police showing that we show at these public events, specifically the use of that large, heavy MRAP machine that looks like a armored tank that they'll use in a war or something like that. I think that should be limited to a certain amount of events per year, not an automatically given just because the police chief wants it or someone else says they have to have it. And I think you should put the city council, if not the mayor, on notice on when and where that machinery equipment should be used, as well as if they're going to have it in and around a park setting with children, that it be safe and it doesn't tear up our parks like it has torn up Fernandez Park, Baseball Field Park, and others, because it's a big, I don't know, 10,000 pound machine. I don't know what the weight is, but every time they use it, there's big dents and potholes in the ground when they leave, and the city doesn't always get to fix them. Right now we have potholes around the trail around the wastewater treatment Bay Park that the city can't even fix or replace. And also I wanted to ask that, are we doing a costing analysis to all these different events, rather than to scale up? Maybe we should look at combining or scaling down on some of these if they're not going to be successful after 2 or 3 years of sort moving forward, because the city right now is in a severe deficit, if not
Anthony, excuse me, could you wrap up, please?
A budget shortfall that the city has of $1 million a year or $5 million over the next 5 years. So we need to,
Those are your two public comments. So I believe there was a discussion.
Yes, I would like to.
You want to reply to him? No, they can't.
I want to comment on both of them.
Sure.
On the comments?
No, not on his. Okay, I'm going to talk to Raphael first. When we have the police department closes down San Pablo Avenue for the car show, that's a real big deal. They have to go through ambulance service to tell them that San Pablo Avenue is going to be closed from point A to point B for so many hours. So if there's any problem, ambulance to get her up, they know ahead of time not to head that way. And also, they have to rearrange with the bus company to reroute them around San Pablo Avenue. They have to change their route for that particular day, which all this takes a lot of planning and effort to keep San Pablo Avenue closed for that from 9 to 3. So that's why that's. If you want to have it someplace else, close the street, you can. I would say you would not even try to do San Pablo Avenue because it's too involved. And the other gentleman's question about the police and the armored vehicles, it is there for one reason and one reason only. It is there to barricade off the street. Before, we used to have one of our fire trucks at the other end. And if we remember a number of times throughout the world, some idiot has found something going on like the Pinole car show, let's say, and they're out of their mind, and it's an opportunity. They can just run right down through the people and kill a lot of people. It's there for the people's safety. That's why the police has that, and that's why we've always had a fire truck or something heavy on the other end, is to protect the citizens that are walking around. As you know, if you've been to the car show, and I know you have been, people come down with their little kids, and they don't really keep a real close eye on them because it's a safe area for the kids to run around and do their thing. So that's why it's there, and I'm glad it's there because it might save somebody's life if you get some idiot running around that wants to do that, which is happening all over the world.
Anthony, we still appreciate your comments, and I'm sure that we can refer to the police department and talk about it. We'll forward that discussion
I got a comment.
about
What we've been talking about. I'd like to say that last night the discussion was at the council meeting, and they are taking it up, so that's just my.
But yeah, we'll keep it on event discussion, but duly noted. We'll take it back to the summer meeting schedule. There was a vote on the floor, first from Commissioner Ojeda. Is there any discussion surrounding the summer meeting schedule of meeting June 26th and July 24th, canceling those, and then reconvening in August? Discussion?
To that question, I would like to say, is there anything in between that would be important that we have to meet or anything like that? Will everything be taken care of today in terms of
yes.
the plans? I'm asking the recreation.
You guys, your commission has thoroughly vetted out the information for Community Service Day, Pride and Juneteenth, 4th of July. Those things will happen during the summer. We have our busy time is the summer. Okay. And then as we reconvene in August, we can put something on about letting you know how the summer went. There is nothing to plan for or recommend to council during that time.
Thank you. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
And at that time, we'll be working on the coastal cleanup. Oh, no. Yes. So could I get a second for the vote, please?
I'll second it.
And could I have commissioners? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Now we're going to move on to an evaluation of Community Service Day. We did struggle a little bit about conflict with a lot of other events, more so this year, I think, than some other years, because May is so busy. So that is an issue, and I think another issue is the signage. I don't think we had enough signs. You had plenty this side, but you had very few in the valley. And I think the signs could be a little larger print with less information. So I have to see.
We're going to pass it to Maria to open, and then we'll open it up for discussion.
Thank you. Laurel, I will make note of the locations. If you can give me some locations on the side of the valley that you would prefer. We
Talk
had
to Bob. He used to put them out, and certainly we needed them along Pinole Valley Road at interim places. He can tell you in detail.
Yes, I put them in for a number of years. In fact, I made a tool and made part of to stump it down and get it into the ground. I put them up at down Pinole Valley Road. I put them up on this side of the freeway. I put them on the outskirts of both ends of San Pablo Avenue, and I put some up on Fitzgerald, on and off of Fitzgerald. By Best Buy, there's a bus pull out. There was a place I could get off and be able to, get into the ground. So I don't know, did that for what, 5 or 6 years or more. But I agree, and I think there should be, like Roselle, maybe a less information and brighter. So when you go by it, it's kind of, what is that? I think if they're a little bit brighter that way, it would help, people going by. And what little information we put on it, make, like the date, fairly large, so that way, as you're driving by, people my age needs big letters, so we don't have to stop and stare at the sign. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, thank you. We have taken note of that, and when we get ready to do signs again, we'll review. The city does have a branding guideline, a new branding guideline, so a lot of our signs have to follow. So I know our Community Service Day flyer did have like a darker green on the background, but that's something when we plan again for next year that we can consider, see if there's a way to switch the colors out as long as we fall within the guidelines.
Question, Maria. How are we using the app, the new city app, to get information out as well? Are you all integrated into that?
We do have access to the app. We haven't shared our the event flyers to there. That's something that we will look into. The process that we have followed and what we did for Community Service Day was shared. We was shared through all of our social media channels. We shared it with the local schools. We shared it with St. Joseph's Pinole, out in the local businesses, and then the lawn signs as well went out on city property. That's the other thing that we have to keep in mind, that we need permission to put the flyers or banners or lawn signs at Trader Joe's. I can't just go and put that, so I actually have to get approval. So that was the part. I actually today got information from Community Development Department for contacts for the shopping center, so we can contact them in the future to put our signs there.
She's on it.
Yes, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Maria.
Number one, I think the community signs were so small. I agree. I got a lot of complaints. They didn't know what was going on that day. People driving by can't read them. What I would think that maybe we do a banner and put those, it doesn't have to be on San Pablo Avenue. You can do banners for the schools, maybe even draw your own little, you see the kids putting youth soccer or whatever sign, SWIP Center. Maybe some of those could be on the fences of the school, any school, and big ones. And maybe the cost of each little sign compared to a bigger one where people can see it. Maybe we can start doing that. And before we go advertise an event, maybe bring that for the next discussion in August. Have the panel here, our community service commissioners, look to see what's more beneficial in terms of the sign, so maybe we could kind of help guide it if we can do that.
So that's a city direction. Branding guidelines fall within city purview, especially since they is a policy as directed for city staff. We can share them before. We can show you what they'll look like, but just keeping in mind, everybody's preference is different. Every age group is different. We keep in mind our seniors, our tots, a teenager. So there's a lot. And so I do agree with you. We are looking at those signs. We are looking at past signs, present signs, future signs. We are looking at placement. Like Maria said, placement of city property, Commissioner Kopp said great places. I'm not going to ask how many were city approved because I don't want to know the answer. But truly, it does have to be, it can't be too big because it can't obstruct a view. It can't be near a stop sign because it can't, there's just so many rules that do apply for us specifically to follow. Now, a volunteer that wants to go out and place them, has a little bit more of opportunity to place things versus city staff. So I do love being able to share the marketing and the flyers, and we can do that via email. We don't have to do that for conversation. We can share that in an email and make sure, that you see them. And, that's the hope of when Maria comes to these meetings beforehand and then goes to council after. When we do that, there is opportunity for discussion, but at that time it is pretty final by that point. But we are looking at all marketing, and we are making sure it follows those guidelines, our new city seal, and logos. We're very excited for all of that.
One more thing that someone mentioned to me just lately, that since we have adopted a union code, local code, yeah, that should be included. So someone brought it up to me.
The Muni code should be included.
The union one. We have adopted cost. I mean, Maria knows, right?
We have the parameters.
We have received the update to the procurement policy that includes the union printing. We are currently, I did go out and contacted different printers to kind of do a cost analysis. Everybody does print stuff at different costs. So we are in the process of reviewing that right now. Yeah. Yes.
And the only reason I asked because someone asked me, so thank you. Yes. I appreciate the information.
We have there's probably 10 printing companies that we were given and provided with, which is great.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask one more quick?
Yes.
Two more. It sounds like it didn't meet our expectations. So
The event?
This is my first time here, so was it?
Right, the event was,
what's
I
problem
think we
I'm
had a
trying to
lot of
solve for?
conflicts with other events, such as the Bridge Walk, which pulls a lot of people, and the weather was pretty appalling. It was very cold. We had very, very few children and young adults there, and often we have them. And I would like to consider that we have a couple of projects that would be appropriate for younger people to do. I think next time we should think about that. What's something that they can do that would be helpful? Whether it's a little competition, picking up stuff on the trail, you know what I mean? Something that's something like that.
And here's one suggestion I would be happy to talk with anyone offline is, I think it may be helpful if we think about how we can do like community service day in Pinole at large versus a few places. So if I have little kids, it's probably easier for me to be around my block.
Oh,
and
yes,
really
exactly.
inspire them versus like at the creek and at Fernandez Park. And so that may not be a concentrated group of people, but we have activated different neighborhoods to do things within.
We have done that in the past, and so long as you let us know where the project's at, we will visit the project and bring supplies and then welcome those participants to come back for lunch.
Okay.
Debbie?
I was just going to say that a coastal cleanup, it's been mentioned and done several times, at least in my neighborhood, where all trash leads to the ocean, So if, like you said, you can get them more engaged in cleaning up their own street, then they can take the trash down there so it can all be weighed. We did that, and it was good. People enjoyed that, but it was coastal cleanup, not community service day.
But I agree with you.
It's a
I would
very
like to
good
see
idea.
A couple of events, particularly geared towards children and youth. And and scheduling time, do we have much flexibility?
We can look at that.
Okay.
We can talk and look at
closer
that.
at the time. Okay. Are there any other comments? The people that came worked, they did a fantastic job. They really did, and they were happy we visited them, and they enjoyed coming back and getting lunch. They were very appreciative, so.
Yeah, I mean, can I just say that it was really nice. It was very nicely done. It was, we were low in attendance. The weather was cold. That was probably part of the problem, and there's nothing we can do about that. In California, we never know. But, we did have some regular groups, like the Friends, what is it called? The Friends of the Creek?
Pinole Creek.
Pinole Creek. And then our Rotary Club, it was a bigger showing than we had thought. And what was the other? Well, in any case, people were having fun, and they were getting the work done, and that was, and they felt good about it. So really, I mean, there's things that we should look at, and we will, But I want to feel good about what had transpired that day because it was good.
A lot of good stuff was done.
Yeah.
And I would like to publicly thank Maria.
Yes.
She did a fantastic job, preparation, keeping us involved, and thank you very much.
Can I make a comment? Okay. I was very happy to hear that this year we included some painting. And our group, I have to brag, okay, I'm sorry, my first. We did the painting at Fernandez Park's tables. So when you go to Fernandez Park and it's painted, I started calling our team the A-team. So we're in competition now with the other groups. So if you guys want to challenge each other at the next event. But it was a lot of fun. And the only thing we didn't paint were the bleachers. But I think that'll be taken care of later. So thank you very much for including extra things for us to do. And also Public Works. They were awesome.
Yes.
Every time you asked for something, they were there. So I think the whole group, in essence, did a great job that day with the weather and the less people. But I think we all had fun, and we all took care of business. And thank you, Maria, and for all that you do. Thank you.
So we can examine this next year, what kind of events, or what date. So we'll move on to Pride and Sorry,
we have 2 public comments.
Oh, we have 2 public comments, okay. Hello?
Okay, Rafael Menes, you may unmute.
Hello, Raphael again, resident of Pinole, and I had a few comments I wanted to make about Community Service Day. First, I want to echo everybody else in thanking Maria for the work she did putting it together, and also thanking all of you, commissioners, for the work you did putting it together, making sure everything was in place, making sure it happened. I got to help out with some stuff over at Tiny Tots, doing some planter box assembly and then doing some mulch spreading, and I felt the cooler weather was actually a little bit nice for the mulch spreading. It always helps a bit having a bit cooler weather for more physical work. I just wanted to also note as sort of a side point that Commissioner Butler's audio isn't quite working right. I don't know whether it's the microphone location or whether the microphone's not turned on or what, but I can barely hear what he's saying. I can see it in the transcript of the Zoom chat, but I'm not getting the same audio as I am for the other commissioners and the staff member. And I think in terms of having stuff that younger kids can do, stuff like the Planter Box project would probably work pretty well for younger kids. I thought it would be this super complicated thing, but it was literally sliding pieces of plastic over wood and then snapping little plastic sort of grommets in place, no tools required, minimal risk, pretty lightweight. So it seems like the sort of thing you could probably have anybody, I don't know, 7, 8 years old or up be able to do. I don't know how much need there is for planter boxes other places than Tiny Tots, but something to consider perhaps. Thank you.
Thank you, Raphael. I'm sure that we can come up with projects for young people. Do we have another speaker?
Yes, we do.
Welcome.
Okay, caller ending in 5748, you may unmute.
Anthony?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Anthony.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, some addendum comments regarding the signage. You know, people made some good suggestions, points, recommendations, but I have one that I've heard before, and I think it should be revisited. That, well, my feeling on the signage, like I echo the previous commissioners and some other people had said, the saying or the policy of less is best, and or the KISS principle or KISS policy. Keep it simple, better than a French word, I'll use signage. So people of all ages can read the signs, not just senior citizens that don't have their eyes bifocals on. And then, you know, it may cause traffic issues, because I know with me, I couldn't read a sign or two in the middle of a Pinole Valley Road or Fitzgerald going by 20, 30 miles an hour or whatever, and then all of a sudden you want to slow down, stop, or or you either miss it or have to decide to go around the block or get out of your car to see the signage. But moving on to the type of signage and so on, with the larger signs, I think it would be beneficial to have some kind of a reuse or recycling signage program, because those large posters and those large synthetic banners can run into some big bucks. And city, I believe it was the city, not the city manager, but the David Hannum, the other city director, he mentioned that in previous years, last year, the year before last, they had signs for these different types of events. And I think the big one was the, not the cleanup day, but the garbage dump day, where you know, they collect the community's garbage and so on, and then they put them in the dumpsters, which is good to have once or twice a year. But they said they put the signage in storage, cold storage. Well, it got frozen and it disappeared because no one could bring out the new signs for the next year or the year after that. And I think they should look at that and have some kind of a generic strip section at the bottom of the sign or in the middle of the sign that has the date and or the time information, so they can reuse those signs and just print another date and time for the next year and the next year. So the sign may last 2 or 3 years before they have to remake them over and over again.
Excuse me, could you wrap up, please?
That should save the city a little bit of money with their huge forthcoming.
Thank you, Anthony. If you were listening, our new Community Services Director, Andrea, said that there are parameters that we will follow, and she will be looking into that. Thank you.
I could give you an answer how to help that. Well, one way you can help with the signage is pick a Saturday or a Sunday at the end of the month. I had the car show set up for always the last Sunday in June, and I had banners all made up so that way next year you never have to look around to see what the date is. It's always the last Sunday. Well, after we did all the paperwork with the city, about 3 weeks later, they came back, oh, we don't want you to have it then. We want you to move it back a week because of the 4th of July. And so next year, we're going to go back to having it the last Sunday in June. And you could do the same thing, pick out one of these Saturdays or Sundays like Dumpster Day and set it up with Republic that we would like to have it on the last Saturday in September or August. And that way you can make a sign up that is good for every year there on out. And if you want to make a few bigger banners, you would have that and you wouldn't have to worry about the date, because if they see it one time and a couple of times, they know it's the last Sunday of that particular month.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
And save you a lot of doing it every year.
Can I make a comment?
Are we still talking about signage? Because I think it's
Yes.
going to be evaluated. We've already discussed that.
I just want to make a comment regarding what was said. I do agree that here in the city, I remember a lot of the events, there were banners, and I do agree that some people would, change the date and then just put the banner up and save money for the city. And I do agree there's a way to save money, and I think we need to explore that idea. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to item B, Pride and Juneteenth, and I am Maria. I'm going to let you take this one, please.
Yeah, actually, before we move on to just one more comment on Community Service Day, I did want to provide the commission and the public with a total of number of volunteers for the event. So we had a total of 50 volunteers. Not everybody came to the facility because a lot of them went over to the Friends of Pinole Water Creek Shed. They had a project going on at the library garden. But in total, we did have 50 people participate. And I just want to kind of summarize the projects that were completed. We had the planter project, as was mentioned at Tiny Tots. There was also some preparation done for the summer camp program. Fernandez Park had painted the tables and some benches. The senior center, the volunteers there prepared the gift shop for the spring sale that started on Monday. And then community corner, Amber Sorts, those volunteers in those areas cleaned up, did some weeding and spread new wood chips in that area. And the Friends of Pinole Water Creek Shed, they led a project at the native plant garden and the tennis court, so they cleaned up that area as well. So just wanted to summarize the projects that were completed and our number of volunteers.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. So just here, just a reminder, the city is hosting the second annual Juneteenth and Pride event. The event will take place on Sunday, June 9th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Fernandez Park. This will be a family-friendly event. We'll have a live band. There'll be food trucks, children's activities, local organizations and businesses will be tabling at this event. I do have a few copies of the flyers here for the commissioners. If you would like to share them through your communication channels, I can send the digital copy, and also if you have any of the paper copies, you're welcome to take those and distribute them in the community as well.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
Item C, community outreach engagement.
So this item here is just for the commissioners. If there's any updates that you would like to provide on any outreach or engagement that's going on, any events that you want to share with the community, right now is the time for that. I just want to remind the commissioners that this isn't a time to discuss the outreach that you're doing or events specifically, not any other items that you want to discuss. Those would have to be emailed to Andrea, myself, and Laurel for consideration for future agenda items.
So we'll start with Commissioner Report.
Yeah, I don't know if I can mention this. I was approached, I think, Laurel, somebody was there with
Have
me.
you been doing events? That's what this is about.
What's that?
Have you been doing outreach?
The person outreached to us at the community event on Saturday, What I'm saying is, she brought a flyer, and my question to you guys is there a bulletin where a community member can put a flyer, like at the senior center maybe or something? That's my question. She asked me that question.
Okay, we'll get back to you about that specifically. For now, if you can let us know, there's bigger conversation behind placement. So I think maybe it'll be helpful when we bring back where banners go, where flyers go, businesses.
Okay.
So I want to bring that back to you at a later time. But for this agenda item, let's focus on anything that you'd like to share with the public about community events that you've been going to, community engagement in that capacity.
Okay, yes. The one of them that I did attend is that community outreach engagement, Fire Station 74, first anniversary a week ago, outstanding. There's video, which our television, Dave Snell is going to put it on channel 26 and 28. There's a schedule, and it's awesome. Please watch it. There's a Firewise program that I think most of the neighborhoods should adopt if you have the time. And other than that, I think overall, I think our group's been doing pretty good great work. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Ojeda.
Would it be okay if I share what's coming up this Saturday for my Rotary Club?
Sure.
Okay, so at the Pinole Baptist Church across the street from Pinole Valley High School, we are having a parking lot sale in an attempt to raise more funds for scholarships for the Pinole Valley High School students. So if you'd like to come down and see what all kinds of offerings we have, please do. That sentence made no sense. But yeah, it should be fun. It's right there across the street, and we'll be there. Thanks. Starts at 9.
And Rotary has just been involved with the high school. Was it Rotary? Pinole for Fair Government, maybe,
As far as
doing scholarships. And
well, we just, I think we've gone ahead and awarded them. Oh, I forgot to mention that for the first time ever, this is what you were talking about. We did our Youth Character Awards that we found out about through other groups. And Oh my goodness, they almost all came. We were so excited. I think we recognized 20 students, and these are students that are, might not be going to the best college, or it's not about any of that. They were someone, their teacher, their principal noticed that they have good character, they have integrity. They always show up and suit up and do the next right thing. And we were very excited and proud that they all came with their parents, and we did it at the high school library, and we're already talking about next year. They all got a certificate and a sash, and we had food, and it was packed. So, yeah,
Great.
that was really cool. Thank you, Laurel. I
Yeah.
can't remember everything.
Commissioner Butler, you can go ahead and share.
Make sure my mic is
There you
on. No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kopp,
No, I don't have anything else.
Chair Martin.
Car show. Prep.
Yeah, we're having the car show on June 23rd. Last year we had over 320 cars, and we had a lot of vendors. We grossed somewhere over $10,000, and the money was split up between like Pinole Hercules Little League, the SEAL swim team here in Pinole, Pinole TV, Senior Center, and another charity one of our members is involved with is for Richmond. So that's where the money goes from the car show. We just keep enough money on hand to start up the next year. If anybody has any questions about the car show, go ahead and ask.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks.
Chair Martin.
My more recent involvement in schools, local schools, actually has been at St. Joseph's. Coming up in a week, we're going to be doing eyeglass sorting with 6th grade. That's always a lot of fun. So they sort the eyeglasses, and then they're shipped and everything. And we did a Rudy Award for Teachers Select, the student who has done outstanding, not academically, but in all the other areas. So, and student speaker was with the high school. So, and we'll be resuming in fall, trying to do scholarships for trade and technical for high school level.
Okay, so now we move on. We are going to adjourn.
Can-
Go ahead and take a motion to adjourn.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can I mention for the adjournment, a possibility of adjourning for Memorial Day holiday to remember all who lost their lives? And can we just adjourn, be a part of the adjournment?
There you go. So we will reconvene in memory of Memorial Day and all, as Commissioner Report had stated, and we will reconvene August 28th. So again, we will not have a meeting for June 26th and July 24th. I'm going to call for a motion.
Call for a motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn, and that we are going to go dark for June and July, and we're going to pick it back up in August 28th.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Second, please.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.